He wrapped up his rally in Omaha, Nebraska last night. Hundreds of supporters were, though, left behind in nearly freezing temperatures.
Sounds like a rapture.
For hours with no transportation.
You've been left behind.
They were bussed in and then left there.
Oh, God.
Trump departed Omaha on Air Force One around 9 p.m.
So he flew out on his presidential jet.
Very comfortable in there with the
That's
refrigerator
awesome.
and people serving him
Eats a
up.
lot.
And he could wash his
Big
hands
Macs.
50 times. After the rally,
KFC.
attendees began lining up for buses because they were bussed in,
Mars
so they figured
bars.
they'd be bussed out, right, to return to their cars.
A lot of
These
Mountain Dew.
supporters, many of them were elderly, waited for those
Not
buses
her.
to take them to distant parking lots as vehicles tried to navigate through airport traffic. Reports placed the outdoor temperature at 32 degrees, according to the Washington Post. By 10:30 p.m., there were still no buses in sight. Crowds didn't fully clear the rally until 12:30 a.m., 3.5 hours after the president departed. Great planning. NBC, super spreader planning. NBC News has obtained Omaha police dispatch calls from Broadcastify that describe at least 7 people being taken to the hospital due to severe temperatures. A political reporter for the Omaha World Herald posted these last night with the message, if you're waiting on someone who attended the Trump rally in Omaha, it may be a while until they get a bus to get out. Traffic along the small roadway to the private side of Eppley Airfield is packed up and buses were having trouble getting through. Nebraska State Senator Megan Hunt tweeted supporters of the president were brought in, but buses weren't able to get back to transport people out. It is freezing and snowy in Omaha tonight. What people will do for this con man, what people have sacrificed is so sad to me. He truly does not care about you.
The Atlantic's Hannah Applebaum summed up the events this way, quote, Trump leaving his supporters stranded in the cold is a perfect metaphor for 2020.
So there you have it, folks. Donald Trump literally stranded some of his most loyal supporters in the middle of nowhere outside Omaha, Nebraska last night in the cold, in the near freezing cold. This was after a Trump rally where he flew in on Air Force One, landed the plane, got everyone bussed in to be around him, and then when he left, for at least an hour and a half afterwards, if not longer, people were left stranded without a way to get home because the buses didn't come back. And this is a perfect metaphor for the Trump campaign and for the Trump presidency. CNN's also reporting basically that police officers were shaking their heads, going crazy, being like, what the hell's going on here? We need 30 buses more at least to get these people home, and we don't have them. And so local law enforcement, instead of doing their jobs, had to basically help manage Donald Trump's, cluster of a mess here in Omaha. That's what happened. Look, and this is funny to a degree because you could say, oh, Trump's stranding his supporters both literally and figuratively, but 7 people had to go to the hospital because of this. 7. And this is in addition to the fact that, again, very few masks, no social distancing, and you add that in too, which is obviously probably going to have ripple effects over the next week and 2 weeks and beyond. This is really showing that Donald Trump doesn't care and his campaign doesn't care about their most loyal supporters. The people going to Trump rallies, especially during COVID, are 100% on the Trump train. These are his most loyal, ardent supporters, the people that volunteer for him, donate money to him, make phone calls for him, talk to all their friends and family about why they should vote for Trump and donate money to Trump. These are more than just Trump voters. There's dozens of millions of Trump voters. These are the 1% of Trump supporters in terms of loyalty. And he abandoned them in a field to freeze. Trump dragged them out on buses, probably not very nice buses, not as nice as Air Force One is, dragged them out there, put them in a field, yelled at them, telling them things that won't improve their lives, won't give their children a chance at a better life, just rambling, and then flew off on his luxury jet, leaving them to freeze in the cold. That's the Trump presidency. That's the metaphor for Trump's 4 years, and if he gets another 4 years. Absolute disregard for the working and middle class people that made his presidency possible. Because, of course, he's governing on behalf of the 1% or maybe the top 5%. But those people don't make you president because there's not enough of them. You need the sort of people that came out to this rally in Nebraska and you left them stranded, Donald. And you could say, oh, it's the campaign's fault. Well, ultimately, the leader goes down with the ship. When you win the presidency, you can brag about how it was all me, the Donald. Well, when something like this happens, you have to own it. This is a catastrophe by Donald Trump. People could lose their life because of what happened last night. You bust out people and you left them in the cold. And your policies gave people hope. You said you were going to make America great again, bring jobs back. And you left working and middle class people stranded in the cold, literally now and figuratively for the last 4 years. If this isn't an example of why Donald Trump needs to be defeated, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. And this could actually have some effects on the election because let's be clear, Nebraska statewide is definitely going to go red. But if the Democrats can win a district election there, they can pick up one electoral college vote and not to mention elect a progressive like Kara Eastman. So Trump literally stranding hundreds, if not thousands of people in Nebraska, man, that could actually flip the election if it's really close. Wouldn't that be karmic justice? Donald Trump finally faces the consequences of freezing his supporters out.